How's everybody doing? All right. Before I want to take your questions, I'd like to touch on a few areas where we found common ground this week on behalf of the American people. First, with regards to the crisis in Flint, one thing we want to do is make sure that something like this never happens again. So yesterday, the House passed a bipartisan bill that holds the EPA accountable for keeping the public informed in the event of high lead levels. As Chairman Upton said yesterday, this bill should not be necessary, but it is. This is a good first step in our response. Second, we have moved one step closer toward a new round of North Korea sanctions. This is a bill that we first passed in the House last month under the leadership of Chairman Ed Royce. The president's strategy of strategic patience with North Korea, it's just not working. Let me say this again. The president's strategy of strategic patience with North Korea is simply not working. We can't be patient when a dictator threatens our country and our allies with advanced nuclear weapons. These sanctions will cut off the regime's weapons of mass destruction program. We hope to make this law soon. This will be on the floor here in the House this week. Third, the Senate will complete work today on legislation to improve our nation's trade enforcement system. This is a very big deal. This is something that I negotiated as chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. It is the most comprehensive overhaul of our custom laws in a generation. One of the big reasons we've updated our trade laws is that we don't want to allow competitors like China to write the rules of the global economy. So this bill provides the tools we need to actually enforce the agreements that we have. This is a big step in the right direction. It eliminates barriers to trade. It levels the playing field for our manufacturers and for our small businesses. The Customs Bill also places a permanent ban on taxing internet access. Internet tax freedom is one of those provisions that we've been extending every year in fits and starts. Americans should not have to worry about something as vital as this being taxed by any government at any level. So now we are banning taxes on your internet access for good. This Customs Bill is also a bipartisan House-Senate conference report. That's very important. Getting a bill passed through the House, getting a bill passed through the Senate, then having a conference committee and a conference report and passing it through both chambers. This is how bills become law. This is called regular order. So this also is another step toward regular order. I'm very proud of that fact. Last thing, while we're working to get things done, we're also focused on keeping the president and holding him accountable. As you know, the president is contemplating closing Guantanamo Bay by transferring detainees to American soil. This is against the law. The president's own attorney general agrees it is against the law. The president's own defense secretary agrees it is against the law. So we are pressing ahead with legal preparations. If the president takes illegal action, we will be ready to respond. The law is the law, and it is just that clear. With that, I'd be happy to take your questions. Brian Tumulty, yeah. You still do Gannett, Northern Wisconsin?
I am.
Yeah.
Not Wisconsin, but.
Oh, okay.
The question is about international tax reform. Last year, you had talked with Senator Schumer about using that to pay for a highway bill. Are you looking forward to continuing those talks this year? What's the chance?
Yeah, I've asked, Kevin Brady and I had a meeting on this, and Kevin's the new chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. We had a huge upgrade in the chairmanship of the Ways and Means Committee. So Kevin is moving ahead with this. I believe he is talking with Senator Schumer, of course, Senator Hatch as well. Look, inversions are happening by the day, so I think we should press ahead by trying to advance solutions. The highway bill is gone. That's passed. That opportunity is gone. I would like to think people would want to fix these international tax law problems for the sake of fixing these international tax law problems, and there should be no other reason but for that it's necessary to get this done. But having said that, I just don't know if the administration will be there at the end of the day, but it shouldn't stop us from trying. So the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee is going to keep pressing ahead on this issue.
Speaker, the Commandant of the Marine Corps and Chief of Staff of the Army testified in the Senate Armed Services Committee last week that young women should be required to register for the draft. Do you, Speaker Ryan, personally support requiring all young women to register?
I'm going to let we're waiting to hear more from the Defense Department on this. The authorizing committee is doing more hearings on this, so I just want to hear what the Defense Department has to say about this before rendering judgment.
Regarding the Zika virus, the White House said on Monday that there is a bipartisan push here in Congress for funds to combat the effects of that. Do you expect that to be on the floor soon? And how will that?
Yeah, we're still waiting for the actual submission from the administration. So I've met with our appropriators. I've met with Senator McConnell. He's met with his counterparts, his appropriators over there. They're meeting together. So this is something that we're going to have a briefing with all of our members on Zika virus. So we're getting prepared, but we're waiting for the official submission for the administration to then scrub it. But we do anticipate some kind of bipartisan action on this because this is something this is a problem we want to get ahead of.
Will it be offset those funds?
We offset emergency spending.
On the budget, you guys are having a family discussion tomorrow on this. You guys had hoped to do the markup in the committee when you return and then get it out on March 3rd to get a jump on appropriations. My question is, how much are you guys willing to wait to settle, or were you?
Yeah, I mean, we never had a set deadline other than April 15th is the deadline. That's usually when we do it. We want to do it earlier so we can get a jump on our appropriations process because we're losing those weeks in July. So because of our schedule for 2016, we're trying to get the budget moving earlier. Look, I was the chair of the budget committee. I feel very strongly about budgeting. I feel very strongly about getting a real working appropriations process so that we can reclaim the power of the purse. So my views are very well known on this. We're having the kind of family conversation. Look, this is a different kind of leadership. This is not jam things down people's throats. This is the kind of leadership where we will make decisions together as a Republican conference. What I intend to do tomorrow is to lay out all of the options and all of the choices and give our members all of the facts so that they can make a well-informed decision, and that's what we're going to do.
So the drag's past March 3.
Oh, yeah, March 3. I mean, look, April 15th is the deadline. So if we get ahead of that, we're ahead of the ball. I wanted to start this budget conversation as soon as we came back from the Christmas break after the State of the Union. I wanted to start this before we even got the president's budget. So my whole point is to get a jump on the schedule because we're losing summer weeks because of the conventions. So we're still way ahead of schedule. The last point I'd say is, I've been doing budget conversations with this conference for a long time. This is not a unique situation. This is an annual situation. We're just having this conversation in February instead of having it in March and April. Yeah. Well, as I mentioned before, I don't think the votes are there right now because of the concerns about what's in the TPP. I can go on all the issues, but the point is, we shouldn't bring something up if we're not confident that we have the support there for it. So I think the president and the administration has a lot more work to do to get support for this document because there are some legitimate concerns about it. So I just don't see the support there for it right now. I can get into my own concerns about it, but the point is there are enough concerns that I don't know that there's a majority support for it. Juan.
You spoke about today about regular order, sticking with regular order. There's a lot of people in the Capitol talking about going outside regular order for this budget process, given some of the challenges that you face. How confident are you today that you can stick with regular order?
Well, it's clearly my goal. Again, I am not going to have a speakership where I am the micromanager or the dictator of the House. I'm the Speaker of the House. And so we're going to make decisions together as a team, and the members are going to help decide how we proceed. I have my own strong opinions on how we should proceed. I think a lot of people have never even been here for an appropriations process. The last time Congress passed all the appropriation bills, I believe, was 1994. So this is a power of the purse that is so vital to the legislative branch, to having the legislative branch hold the executive branch accountable. And so that's why I feel strongly of having a viable working appropriations process. It typically breaks down in the Senate. It broke down in both houses last year. I want to get it back up and running, but our members are going to make this decision together. Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, based on your conversations with your colleagues, do you think there is majority support or will be majority support in your conference for sentencing reform to clean out the Judiciary Committee has passed?
Yeah, well, if the Judiciary Committee is any judge of it, I don't know what the vote count was. It was pretty overwhelming, if I'm not mistaken. So the Judiciary Committee passed by wide bipartisan votes 4 bills out. I think they have more coming. So this is one of those cases where I think Congress ought to work its will. There's bipartisan support for these bills. Again, I'm a regular order guy, so whatever comes out of committee, if it has support to come out of committee, then I'm in favor of moving these things.
You mentioned the internet tax freedom ban. For proponents of the online sales tax measure, they've often tried to tie those together, and I understand one of the agreements for moving the customs bill on the Senate side was that there'd be a vote over there on the Marketplace Fairness
Right.
Act. I know you're a regular order guy, but
I am. I'll give you a regular order answer if you want one.
I understand the answer that's expected, but Chairman Goodlatte has kind of held up that bill, according to many supporters of the Marketplace Fairness Act. Do you see that coming up in the House this year?
I support Chairman Goodlatte, and I support him moving the process through his committee. He has an alternative version of this bill that he is working on, so I support his effort in doing that. But you know why? Because that's the committee of jurisdiction.
Last question, guys.
The appropriators, many of them have said that they're willing to move forward at the October set, that budget spending level, regardless of the outcome of these budget discussions that you're having. Would you let them do so?
Well, we have a 1974 Budget Act. In the 1974 Budget Act, you have to have the 302A. I don't want to get too wonky in this thing, but you have to pass a number so that appropriations can continue, and the budget is typically where you pass that number. So, do I want the Appropriations Committee to proceed? Yes, but in order for them to proceed, we have to pass a bill authorizing their ability to proceed at that appropriated number.
If you can't get agreement on Friday, is there a chance to have it?
Friday, look, we're in February. The budget deadline is April 15th. We're starting this conversation a month and a half early so we can get a jump on the process. This is the kind of conversation we had. Last year it was over defense spending. So every year there are machinations and concerns about aspects of the budget. This is no different than any other year we have. We're going to have a family conversation. Our members are going to be given all the options and all the data and all the evidence and all of the choices in front of them. And we as a team, as the House Republican Conference, will make that decision. Thanks much. Appreciate it.